And we are so excited about having these fine folks with us who have a wonderful performance coming up. We're going to talk a bit about Langston Hughes. And Michael, if you can take it away there with Regina and Randy.
Well, I was real excited when I started looking into who these guests were. And Randy is involved in film, and he's a lawyer, and he works with youth projects. And Regina, it turns out, is an actress who I saw in I'll Fly Away years ago. And because when I saw the picture, I said, I've seen this woman before. So it's really nice to have both of you on. My wife dug out my Langston Hughes books. And I read a little bit about reminding myself about Langston Hughes. You are both involved with an event that's going to happen on February 1st at the City Winery, and it is it's a tribute to Langston Hughes, is my understanding. It's also a benefit for a group called Dunda. Randy, tell us what's going on.
Yes. On February 1st, Wednesday, February 1st, we are having a birthday party. 115th birthday party for Langston Hughes, and it's called Happy Birthday Langston Hughes, a celebration in poetry, prose, and song. And it's something I've been wanting to do for many years, and lucky for me, I've always admired Langston Hughes in his life, and I always thought that I should have been born during the Harlem Renaissance, so I could hang out with Zora Neale Hurston.
Hey, make it the Chicago Renaissance, dude.
but I'm here now. And sitting next to me, I have Regina Taylor. So she's my Zora Neale Hurston, and she's been great in helping me pull this together. And we're gonna have a birthday party, a great celebration for Langston Hughes on Wednesday at the City Winery.
Would either one of you please share with our younger listeners out there who haven't researched it who Langston Hughes is and who Zora Neale Hurston is?
Well, Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston were African-American writers who wrote during the Harlem Renaissance, where Langston wrote longer than the Harlem Renaissance. He was a part of the Chicago movement here. He had an amazing life. He wrote a lot of poems, a lot of poetry, a lot of books, literature, plays, music. Langston... He grew up in Joplin, Missouri. He was born in Joplin, Missouri, but he moved around in various times with his parents, and he actually wrote his first poem in Illinois. The very first poem he wrote when he was, I believe, around 13 years old in 8th grade. He wrote it here in the state of Illinois. And he's just an amazing poet, and he's probably one of the very few poets who was able to make a living from writing poetry.
Really?
He, he lived some of the time in Lawrence, Kansas. He was also spent time in Mexico, and I think it was his great-grandfather he has a complicated, as we all do, lots of people, but was involved with John Brown, and I think his great-grandmother was the last of the widows of the people killed at Harper's Ferry.
That's true, yes.
And so Langston Hughes is quite a guy. And
I love that Michael brought his Langston Hughes books here. I mean, Michael is clearly a student of the art form and of what African Americans in Chicago were able to do on their part of the Harlem Renaissance. Sorry, go ahead, Michael.
Well, any of you can talk. I want to get Regina talking a little bit a bit. Yeah. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And I'm even more excited to learn that you are now living in Chicago.
Yes, I am. I have about a 20-year relationship, 21 years relationship with Chicago, mainly through theater, but I was brought here the first time to work on a play with the Goodman Theater and fell in love with the city, so I'm here.
How did you two meet?
Actually, through the Chicago International Film Festival. I'm on the board of the governing board of directors for the Chicago International Film Festival, and I chair the Black Perspectives Committee. And I found out Regina Taylor was in Chicago. We wanted to honor her. A lot of people don't know that Regina is a Golden Globe winner from the show I'll Fly Away, Best Actress, and she was also the first African American woman to play Juliet on Broadway. So I mean,
excellent. Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent. Yes, let's hear it for Regina Taylor and her accomplishments. It's really a treat to have you here. Did we have you on the show once before, Regina?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I thought we might have. No. Okay.
Well, this benefit you guys are doing, the Langston Hughes birthday party at the City Winery on February 1st, which is, that's a Wednesday?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a benefit for Donda House. Do either of you want to give us a little information on who? I know, and some of the proceeds will go to securing Langston Hughes' home in Harlem.
Excellent.
Which is, go ahead.
Donda's House, some of the proceeds are going to Donda's House, and Donda's House is a not-for-profit here. It was started by Che Reinfest Smith and his wife, Donnie Smith.
Yeah.
And, Donda's House is named after Donda West, which is Conway West's mother. And they've recently purchased Conway West's family's home on the south side of Chicago. So it's an organization that benefits youth on the south side of Chicago. It's an arts organization. The children do poetry, I believe maybe acting. They focus on the arts. They get the kids involved in the arts. And so one of the things that they plan to do, or they're trying to do, is also about Langston Hughes' home in Harlem. And so we wanted to give them a little help.
Who's going to be on the show with you on February 1st?
Yes, we have a really great roster of folk from Malcolm London, Jay Ivey, Teresa Griffin, Lynn Jordan, Jussie Smollett, Nicholas Jackson. We have students from Donda's House. We also have Cheryl Lynn Bruce.
Wow. That's a jam-packed Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
And a wonderful venue.
We're going to have to go to that, I think.
You should come. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We were moved last night to hear that the woman who originally was the reason that Emmett Till was sacrificed finally recanted. On this show about 15 years ago, we had the cousin of Emmett Till sitting right across from us and telling us his remembrance of that awful night. He was actually in the same bed as Emmett, Mr. Wright. What does it mean to you to hear that story, to see that it has been, that justice has happened and that, that truth has come out, and what that might mean for us all to understand better our history? Just your reflections. Regina?
Yes, it is. It is our history.
Indeed.
American history. And we're all joined underneath the soil. We want to chop down all of these memories, all of this history, but the root ball remains, and it keeps popping up again, and we have to deal with it. We're dealing with it again right now. It's what we need to continue in terms of conversations. We thought we had these conversations before, but certainly in dealing with the truth of it, each generation has to fight for it all over again, for us to have a democracy. We have to instill that history into the next generation so that they'll have the tools to fight for it.
It seems like that job is bigger now than it's ever been for us.
Well, when I think about what's going on currently, one of the things that come to my mind, and me and Regina was speaking about it earlier, is Langston's poem, "Let America Be America Again." You had the Trump campaign running on "Make America Great Again," but simply we need to let America be America again. I'm not sure if America was ever that great.
For everybody, no?
But it's now trademarked.
But Langston wrote that poem many years ago. It seems like we're going full circle again, and we have to fight, and we have to write more. We have to advocate more as artists, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to do this program on Wednesday night and celebrate Langston Hughes, because he's still very relevant, and we need to let people know who he is, what his writings were, because it's still very relevant today.
Right. What he wrote then is still reverberating at this moment. We need to hear that. again, history, teaching the history so that we can figure out how we navigate the future.
So, are you going to read a poem for us, Regina?
Yes.
Do you want to be seated there, or do you want to stand up? Because we do have a boom.
I'll
You'll stay there?
stay right here.
All right.
This is called Harlem by Langston Hughes, and this piece, again, his connection to Chicago, with Lorraine Hansberry's Raisin in the Sun, she took this as her jumping off point. Harlem. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode?
Whew. That's always been...
That's Regina Taylor, who along with Randy Crumpton and a wonderful lineup will be performing this Wednesday at the City Winery, February 1st. Incredible lineup that we're just learning more details about today. We should all show up for this wonderful music. I think artists and music will what get us through the next 4 years. Because we're going to need to get inspiration from someplace, and I don't think it's going to be 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
And speaking of artists and music, Regina, you're an artist, and I wondered if you would share with us any projects that you're working on and any plans you have. Any movies coming up, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, I'm doing a lot of writing. I have plays coming up in this season. One is called Oobla-Dee at Two Rivers Theater about female jazz musicians in the 40s, and doing Crowns at the McCarter Theater coming up this season.
Where's the McCarter Theater?
In Princeton, New Jersey.
All right.
Right.
No wonder I don't know about it.
How about you, Randy? You got any projects coming up?
Beyond the one that
I know
we
you
talked
just
about?
you're just flying. You just flew back from some film festival. What do you got going on?
Well, I just came back from Sundance.
Ooh, snazzy.
Actually, in my day-to-day life, I'm an attorney, so I'm busy doing legal work. But I do have some projects I'm working on, some things I'm trying to develop and get produced, some films.
Did anybody think that when the power went off at Sundance that it was something coming from D.C.? Never mind. Just a thought. Go ahead.
Is there anything that we didn't ask either of you that you want to share? That's my go-to line at the end here.
I would just say, come on out Wednesday night. We're going to have a lot of fun. We have a great lineup. We're going to have some beautiful music. Teresa Griffin is a wonderful, excellent singer here, and Lynn Jordan. We have a great lineup, and I'm just so happy that we could get so many people. And it's so funny because Sherilyn Bruce, when Regina Taylor mentioned her, I said, oh, there's no way she's going to do this. And she sent me a text that Sherilyn was going to do it. You know, I was just flabbergasted.
Thrilling.
So it's very thrilling. I'm sorry. So please come out and join us and celebrate Langston Hughes' life with us.
February 1st, City Winery, 8 o'clock.
And the City Winery is in Milwaukee, right?
No.
Randolph.
Oh, West
Come
Randolph.
on,
Sorry,
Katie.
sorry. Yeah.
We want to thank you both for coming on the Live from the Heartland show.
And we want to
Thank
thank
you.
Mark Brown, along with Larry Schur, for their earlier conversation. Next week, we have Jamal Cole, who's with My Block, My Hood, My City, talking about bringing youth around to introduce them to the rest of Chicago, along with Leanne Triplett and an update on the Women's March Next Actions. Our second annual benefit concert on behalf of Live from the Heartland will take place on February 26th from 3 to 7 p.m. at Red Line Tap. We'll be announcing guests as they confirm over the next week or so. It's a great lineup already. Please like us on Facebook and at livefromtheheartland.com. Thanks for all who make this show possible, especially Lynn Norman Weiss, our wonderful music producer, Reed Himes for engineering here at the cafe, Nolan Chin for engineering downtown, and our good friend Tom for hosting us here at the Heartland. Have a great week, Michael and Katie.
Right on. And so everybody do good in the world, because the world needs all the good that you do.
All power to the people.